staff and our visitors. Welcome to everyone joining us online. This is Monday, April 7th, 2025, and we are at a regular meeting of the City Council, City of Waverly, in the great state of Iowa, and this meeting is called to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, you have in front of you an agenda proposed by our city clerk. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? This will be a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. Item D. You have in front of you 3 sets of minutes prepared for you by our city clerk. I think we can take them all in one batch. Can I have a motion? Anyone?
A move to approve the March 17th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, March 24, 2025 special meeting minutes for the proposed budget statement, and the March 24th, 2025 study session minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I hear none. This is a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. We have a new guest council person to bring in the new month. Welcome, Mr. John Pentecost. I understand you're a manager at Fairway, one of our fine grocery stores.
I'm the grocery manager, yeah.
Grocery manager. Excellent. Well, we're happy to have you. And I'll be calling on you at the end of the meeting for any comments you might have. And if you have a question or something urgent to say, just let me know.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll turn now to public hearings. We're on item F. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing for review of the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated costs for the Bituminous Seal Coat Program 2025 project. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. Have you received, Madam Clerk, any written or oral comments?
I have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Are there any public comments? If you'd like to speak to this item, please come to the microphone now. I see no one rising. This public hearing is therefore declared closed. Is there a motion?
I will move approval of Resolution 25-42, approving the plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimated total cost for the Bituminous Seal Coat Project 2025 project.
Second.
Thank you. In that case, any discussion? I hear none. This is a roll call vote.
Bergen?
Yes.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
That passed unanimously. We are now on 1A, Resolution 2545, awarding the contract for the Bituminous Seal Coat Program 2025 project. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve Resolution 25-45, awarding the contract for the Bituminous Seal Coat Program 2025 project to Blacktop Services Company of Humboldt, Iowa, for the bid amount of $177,538.64.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? This too will be a roll call vote.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Rafi?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Thank you. Item 2. This is the date, time, and place for a public hearing on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026. The mayor and city council will entertain any comments. After all comments, the hearing will be declared closed and the following action will be considered. Madam Clerk, have you received any written or oral comments?
I have not, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anyone who would rise to speak to the budget, please come to the microphone now. I see no one rising to speak, therefore this public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
I don't think we need a motion. on
I don't
this.
need a motion because I've just closed the meeting. So, Resolution 2543, authorizing the City of Waverly to contribute funds to various non-governmental entities identified through the budget process and setting forth the defined public benefit for the expenditures approved in the budget for fiscal year 25-26. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of Resolution 25-43, authorizing the City of Waverly to contribute funds to various non-governmental entities identified through the budget process and setting forth the defined public benefit for the expenditures approved in the budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? None? This is good stuff we're doing. Okay, let's have a roll call vote.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Item 2B, Resolution 2544, adopting the City of Waverly budget for the fiscal year 25-26. Can I have a motion?
I would move to approve the resolution 2544, resolution adopting the City of Waverly budget for fiscal year 2025-2026.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, the budget is on the table. Any discussion? All right, you appear ready to vote. Carla?
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
The budget is passed unanimously. Congratulations, Val. It's time to turn ourselves to some proclamations. Proclamation number 1, the Week of the Young Child. Whereas the Iowa Association for the Education of Young Children and other local organizations, in conjunction with the National Association for the Education of Young Children, are celebrating the Week of the Young Child, April 5th through the 11th, 2025, and whereas by highlighting the need for high-quality early care and education for all children and families within our communities and the state, these groups are committed to early care and education system in Iowa that will ensure each and every child beginning at birth is healthy and successful. And whereas, based on the latest research on brain development and how children learn, and what we know about the return on investment in young children, we fully support the need for access to high-quality early care and educational services. And whereas, the future of our communities and the economy and our state depends on the quality of early care and education experiences, as well as access to the high-quality early care and education programs provided to young children today. And whereas, we must recognize the vital work performed by early care and education professionals, express our gratitude for their important services and support efforts to see that they are fairly compensated. Now, therefore, I, Mark A. Anderson, Mayor of the City Council of the City of Waverly, do hereby proclaim April 5 through 11, 2025 as the Week of the Young Child in Waverly, Iowa. I propose this proclamation. Can I have a motion?
Move approval of proclamations read by the mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Tiffany, I wonder if you'd like to say a couple words. Please start by introducing yourself and then
Correct.
the microphone's yours.
Sorry, I have a cough drop because I work with young children. They're germy. So, hello, Mr. Mayor and members of the Waverly City Council. My name is Tiffany Skaggs, and I've owned and operated a licensed family child care program here in Waverly for the last 15 years. I sit on the executive board of the Iowa Association for Young Children, and I'm a member of the national affiliate NACI. I'm also the state representative for Iowa in the National Association for Family Child Care. I'm here today to request that the mayor sign the NACI's Week of the Young Child proclamation. Science tells us that the most important time for brain development is within the first 5 years, and that learning is best done through play. We take this week to celebrate the youngest children in our communities and amazing professionals that dedicate their lives to the care and education. I'd like to tell you what the Week of the Young Child entails. It's an annual celebration that focuses public attention on the needs of young children and their families, and recognizes the early childhood programs that meet those needs. It was first established by NACI in 1971, and this week highlights that the early childhood years, birth to age 8, lay the foundation for children's success in school and later life. Every Week of the Young Child, they have a theme. So Mondays, today, is Music Monday, activities highlighting how much music promotes language development and early literacy skills. We did something in my program today with lots of music. Tasty Tuesday focuses on healthy nutrition and cooking activities that connect math, literacy, and science. Work Together Wednesdays are building projects that develop problem-solving, math, and social skills. Artsy Thursdays is creative art experiences that foster critical thinking and fine motor development. And Family Fridays is a celebration of families as children's first and most important teachers. Thank you for considering this proclamation, showing the children, their families, and the early childhood educators in Waverly that we appreciate them and the work that they do.
Thank you so very much. Is there any discussion, council?
My children aren't young anymore, but I definitely appreciated the quality daycare they received when they were younger.
Early in life, I was a preschool director, and preschool and daycare is way harder work than it looks, and it looks hard. Yeah. Any other discussion, friends? Are you ready to vote?
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, we did.
Good, the motion, okay.
Okay, we have a
You
motion.
seconded it.
Good.
We have a motion, we have a second, we've had lively discussion. Are you ready to vote?
Yes.
This will be a voice vote. All those in favor of proclamation number 1, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Proclamation number 2. This is the Fair Housing Month proclamation. Whereas the Fair Housing Act, enacted on April 11, 1968, enshrined into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States, and whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, and disability, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirmatively further fair housing in their communities, and whereas Waverly is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all, and whereas our social fabric, the economy, health, and environment are strengthened in diverse, inclusive communities, and whereas more than 50 years after the passage of the Fair Housing Act, discrimination persists and many communities remain segregated, and whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness, now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of Waverly, Iowa does hereby declare the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in Waverly, an inclusive community committed to fair housing and to promoting appropriate activities by private and public entities to provide and advocate for equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of Waverly. I propose this proclamation to you. Can I have a motion?
I move to approve a proclamation proclaiming April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the city of Waverly, Iowa.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I met with a bunch of our realtors and their association earlier this week, and they're quite adamant on the importance of this. Alrighty, no more discussion. This will also be a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And opposed? That passed unanimously. Which brings us to proclamation number 3. Am I on this correct, Carla? We're going to do trees today? Yep. Tree City, USA. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore I, Mark A. Anderson, Mayor of the City of Waverly, Iowa, do hereby proclaim April 25th as Arbor Day in the City of Waverly, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. I propose this official proclamation to you, council. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of proclamation proclaiming April 25th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the city of Waverly, Iowa.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
April 25th is the perfect date. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
I had the absolute joy of going to Ankeny, Iowa, with Paul Franson and his adoring parents, and of course,
Paul Cheville.
Paul, yes, Paul Cheville, and his parents, and Garrett, and we watched the city of Iowa receive 3 awards for tree planting and such, and for Paul to receive the Professional of the Year award for his work with trees in our town. It was a great event, just to see Paul being recognized and the city recognized. It was, frankly, a lot like an aerobics class, because when a city would get an award, all the mayors and staff from that city were to stand up. And that was like standing up and sitting down like Catholic Mass. It was just, it was great. So we just about took every award, I think all but one, right, Garrett? I think that's right.
I think you're correct, yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
So any more discussion on proclamation number 3? Okay, you appear ready to vote. This is voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That passed unanimously. Item H. Now is the time for anyone who would like to speak to any topic that is not currently on the agenda. If you'd like to speak to something, please come to the microphone now. I see no one rising. So move to item I, the consent calendar. Can I have a motion?
I move approval of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? These 6 items are a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? We're on to regular business, item J. Number 1, Resolution 2546. This is a resolution setting the date for a public hearing on the proposal to convey interest in real property to Prime Development Properties, LLC. Can I have a motion?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-46, a resolution setting the date for a public hearing on the proposal to convey interests in real property to Prime Development Properties, LLC, for the purchase price of $1 and in consideration of buyer's other obligations under the agreement.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion.
Can I get some background on this?
Sure. They're looking to develop an area that is going to encroach up into our wetlands by acquiring this parcel that really has no actual value. It's waterways, et cetera. They can shift it slightly, get away from the wetland area, and be able to possibly include some housing. This is over towards,
It's behind
okay, the best.
Cousins.
Called by Starbucks.
Thank you.
Behind Cousins Building.
Cousins Building is back in there. And so it's not an area we thought would be a big jump for development, but there are people looking to put some areas back in there to develop, and so there's some right of way. And again, it's not a lot of value, so we're just trying to make sure it stays away from utilities throughout that area, water issues, et cetera, and this will allow that to kind of happen. So we're just setting the public hearing so that can occur.
So the land that they have is part of the wetlands, or?
It's getting awful close to it to where we're gonna be shifting them away from them, or else we would have to do some kind of intervention in that area where it might not be beneficial for us.
Now, it looks like there's 2 pieces of property, there's like an A and a B. Is one like the continuation of the road so they can access the property?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
east-west section.
Right, okay.
So are the
so-
wetlands the wooded area?
Yeah,
To
if you
the
pull map,
east
make
of
sure I'm
the-
looking at it right.
This is the pond, this
Right,
is
these
the
are-
golf course.
Okay, that's this.
So yeah, the access
But
point
that-
is what they're gonna acquire from us,
Is that
so they can
along
get
the
into
top?
that, correct, so they can get into
Fence
it.
The golf course.
So
And
that's-
it backs right up then, you know, that area gets wet back in there, so we're trying to shift that away from that wet area so it'll
Oh,
actually
okay.
make sense.
So the idea is basically by giving them access through that road, they can build not so close to the wetlands.
Right.
Okay, and that, I'm gonna say that up, down, the north-south piece, that seems, that's kind of that part B, we're giving that, or we're selling that to them for, just because they can use that land and we got no other use for it?
Right, we still have easements throughout that, because there is some waterways, some water lines, so we're that
Okay.
kind of thing to run through there, but it's of no value to us other than just, again, it's
Right, well,
waterway, it's ground.
but it would be beneficial for us to allow someone to develop it.
So
if
they
it can-
want to
if it can lead
build on
more
that
housing.
section, the north-south section that's in
They're gonna
red? or
build
the-
in the other section, this allows them to shift some things around so they're not getting up into our utilities. Because part of that
Probably gives
is,
them setback room.
it is,
Yeah.
Okay. So the wetlands are at the end of the golf course?
it's towards that area, yeah, it does get very wet down in there.
So that's kind of at the south end of their property is where the wetlands are? Or is it
I
the,
think where we're at here.
Towards the north.
Yes.
Well, the north, I think.
Well,
Because
I'm
it
not-
looks
I'm
like
not-
they own the part to the east that looks like it's wooded. That's behind Cousins Builders.
It's right here.
Right.
right, so, yeah, that's where we have,
But they're giving this piece here, which is,
So we're allowing some, selling other,
Right up-
and it gives
right
them
along the
access and
course.
ability to shift their buildings into a better fit for
Okay.
them, so they're not getting into digging in an area we have utilities or things like that. So we're kind of swapping out ground. They're going to move the utilities for us to get out of that area.
so when you say we're swapping out ground, so what ground are we gaining? Or is that not kind of part of the,
We are giving them ground so that they can move our utilities to an area that won't be affected.
Okay.
So they are going to have to move that. That's part of what the agreement will be in there. Like I said, all we're doing today is setting a public hearing.
sure.
Okay, so the motion is to set a public hearing. Sure you don't have any more discussion? Anyone?
Will
I
they be
suppose one
coming?
question I have is, what's the difference between conveying interest and selling?
Selling is we no longer have an interest in it. Conveying interest is that I think we still have an area there, but it's not like our.
So like we're
primary.
maintaining some, like the right of ways and things, or?
Not an attorney, Brian,
Okay.
so I can tell you. I
Okay.
can pay for $300 an hour and get you an answer if you'd like, but, that's, we're setting a public hearing.
I'm wondering if that's just like lawyer speak, for they don't want to say selling it, so they say conveying interest.
Don't know, we hope to have them here to discuss some of that with you, and like I said, my intent was just to set a public hearing for
Yeah.
it,
So
so.
will the developer be coming to the public
They
hearing?
better be.
Given how many questions we're curious
I
about.
think it's gonna be smart if they are.
That'd be helpful, I think.
Like I said, it's not an area we saw development in, period. We're happy
Right.
somebody's gonna
Oh,
do
yeah.
it, but it doesn't come without difficulties.
Yeah.
Just because utilities, wetway, the waterways, everything, so there's a lot of configuration had to occur to make this work.
Well, and as I read the materials, Plan A is to put in some townhouses. We could really use some housing, so
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
that'd be great. But Plan B is other commercial, so it's all good.
Yep.
Okay, any more discussion? Now that we got the windows open, we can. Okay, Carla, let's have a roll call vote.
Myers.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
That passed. Item 2, this is the second reading of ordinance 1163, an ordinance amending section 105.4.11, parking fines of chapter 105 of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances. Can I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the second reading of ordinance 1163, an ordinance amending section 105.4.11, parking fines of chapter 105 of the Waverly Municipal Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, second reading, this is roll call vote.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Resolution 2547. This is a resolution adopting the Iowa statewide urban design standards for public improvements and the Iowa statewide urban standard specifications for public improvements manual. Is there a motion out there?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-47, a resolution adopting the Iowa statewide urban design standards for public improvements and the Iowa statewide urban standard specifications for public improvements manuals.
Second.
Any discussion?
Are these the standards that, say, like Moulton and Mank are using, and are they already using these standards?
So it's SUDAS. You probably hear that term thrown around a lot. In fact, years ago, we used to throw it around all the time. We wanted to enforce things and this kind of stuff. We never actually had approved them. So we really were just
talking about things we'd like to do, wanted to do, but never actually did. This makes it official. We are following the standards that are commonly known throughout business, Iowa, et cetera. I don't know, Justin, if you want any more comment on that, but
There's usually standards that are followed. Some are DOT specs, some are SUDAS. SUDAS is pretty much widely accepted across all facets of engineering and different design. Includes design, and it includes the specifications, so it details it down. In the addendum, we do a design specifications for City of Waverly, so we call out certain items that we want to detail that are more specific than what these call. These plans, the general SUDAS are very vague on some items, so we want to narrow it down to what City of Waverly wants. This will be a work in progress. It'll be ongoing for a couple of years. Every year we'll revisit it, might have to add a few things here and there. So it's not a once and done type thing. You'll see this come back at some point where we'll have to amend our specifications that we have.
Well, it makes sense to have everybody speaking the same language. My question was, the document that you included, is that our current set of standards with amendments, or what is that?
That is our one going forward, yes.
Going
That's what
forward.
we've developed.
Okay.
A group of us sat together and we went through painstakingly every page of this and changed what the City of Waverly wants and
Okay.
what we want to follow.
Removed some things, added some things. Okay.
Some of it was language changes, some of it was just a certain type of pipe we want to allow versus another type of pipe and those type of items.
Councilperson Rathi, I think this is kind of like the DSM-5 of building roads.
It's not at all like the DSM. But it is like, having a standardized language, so you understand what every person.
You can go to the Iowa State website and then you can
Yeah.
download it. Everyone can look at it at any time, anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? This is a roll call vote. Carla?
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rossi.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Item 4, Resolution 2548. This is a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding regarding road maintenance with Bremer County, Iowa. Can I have a motion for getting along with Bremer County?
Move to approve Resolution 2548, a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding regarding road maintenance with Bremer County, Iowa.
Second.
Any discussion?
So at the bottom of the first page of the memorandum of understanding, there's a sentence where it says, "New entrances within the city limits shall be as the city engineer designates." Do we have a city engineer?
Bolton Mink would be our city engineer.
Okay, so when we say city and engineer, that's who we're referring to.
That's our internal engineering.
Excellent.
Are you ready to vote? This will be a roll call vote. Carla?
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rossi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Resolution 2549. This is a resolution awarding the library concrete project to Huff Contracting of Waterloo, Iowa, and approving contract and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract. Is there a motion out there?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-49, a resolution awarding the library concrete project to Huff Contracting of Waterloo, Iowa, and approving contract and authorizing the mayor to sign the contract for the bid amount of $24,525.
Second.
Any discussion?
So my question was, is this the parking area where customers park or the staff parking lot in the back?
Director Meyer?
Drive-through.
Or both?
The staff commonly park back there, but there's plenty of space, so it's actually open to everyone back there.
Okay, so it's that.
That
section.
north, it's on the
Toward West
north edge
Cedar.
of the property, kind of northwest there.
Okay, gotcha.
Anything else? You appear ready to vote? Carla?
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rossi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Resolution 2550. This is a resolution approving a proposal and standard fee schedule for HRS surveying for the site survey for the alley reconstruction of 2025. Can I have a motion?
I'll move approval of Resolution 25-50, a resolution approving a proposal and standard fee schedule for HRS surveying for the site survey for the alley reconstruction 2025 for a total fee of $3,500.
Second.
Any discussion?
When would this be done? This summer or?
Typically this summer, it's kind of whenever we can get bids out, we get a contractor on board.
Okay. They usually go pretty quickly.
Yes, they
Okay.
did. Last year, we were a little behind on getting the plans out, so I think it was a little later in the year. Typically, we try to miss any main events in the city or anything like that.
I drove through there tonight, it looked like you had one call or somebody had already spray painted.
Yeah, I don't know if that was called in for this design for HRS, so we can get all the utilities on there.
They might just be telling us they're gonna tear it up as soon as we get it done. too.
I thought they was getting the cart ahead of the horses.
That kinda usually is how it works. We get it
Right.
done, it's pretty, we take a picture, oh, they're cutting it, digging it next day. Seriously. Yeah, it's notoriously how it kinda goes, so. Forewarning, they're probably gonna cut it up.
Any more discussion? All right, let's have a roll call vote.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
That passed unanimously, thank you. We're going to pass over item 7. That is not as complete as we hoped for tonight. We'll come back to it in the immediate future.
Wonderful.
That'll take us to item 8. Resolution 2551, a resolution approving proposals for Well 8 Programmable Logic Controller upgrade and authorizing the Public Works Director to sign the proposals. Can I have a motion?
Move to approve Resolution 25-51, a resolution approving proposals for Well 8
It's harder to say than you think.
Logic PLC upgrade and authorizing the Public Works Director to sign the proposals for equipment purchase and labor and materials, one from Primex for $36,670 and one from Tetro Electric Incorporated for $1,500 for a total amount of $38,170 and authorizing the Public Works Director to sign the proposals.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
So I know that a PLC is a programmable logic controller.
Yes. I read
What
up
is
on
a
it.
programmable logic controller? What does it do?
It is the brains that basically operates everything in the well house. So
Okay.
if you remember, a few years back, we did well number 5, the same exact thing. It tells it when to shut off. It controls when everything kicks on as far as chlorine, the fluoride, and the things that we add to the water. And it communicates with the main PLC that's back at Public Services Building. So basically, it just tells it when the water tower hits a certain level, it kicks the pump on. When it reaches a peak, it kicks the well off.
So it's basically maintaining our water pressure.
Yeah, water levels, yeah.
Water level, okay. And it's one of, so there are similar things in the other wells, and they all communicate with each other, or they all
They
communicate with
communicate
Public
back to the
Works?
main PLC at our building.
Okay.
And so if something happens, I mean, do you guys get notified on your phones
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have fiber to each well that
Yeah.
SCADA notifies us.
But this doesn't do things like testing for nitrates or anything, this is strictly like water level?
Yeah, basically it's an update because the system we have now has been phased out. So if something happens to it, we have one backup one, but we still have 2 more of these in the system. So they do fail as we found out.
Any other discussion? Let's have a roll call vote.
Myers.
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
Wolf.
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kangas.
Yes.
That passed unanimously, thank you. Number 9, Resolution 2552, a resolution accepting the material cold storage building project as complete and approving invoice to Tetro Electric Incorporated. Is there a motion?
I will move approval of Resolution 25-52, a resolution accepting the material cold storage building project as complete and approving invoice to Tetro Electric Incorporated of Waverly, Iowa for $9,800.33.
Second.
Excellent, any discussion?
Is it always going to have a dirt floor?
The north side, we're planning on pouring some concrete in it eventually. Trying to let it settle out. They dug about 10, 11 foot inside on all of it for the footings, and they didn't settle a whole lot this year. The south side will probably have dirt in it unless we see the need to get some rock, but it's really hard packed. Walked around in there the other day and it was not soft at all.
It's impressive, you ought to go see it, the size and the magnitude is unbelievable. I mean, it's quite a building.
You appear ready to vote. Carla?
Rafi?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Bergen?
Yes.
Drinkow?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Kangas?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
That passed unanimously. Taking us to item 10, Resolution 2553. A resolution approving the budgeted purchase of a dual cart wind runner from Easy Line of Orange City, Iowa. Can I have a motion?
I will move approval of Resolution 25-53, a resolution approving the budgeted purchase of a dual-cart wind runner from Easy Liner of Orange City, Iowa for the price of $90,662.
Second.
Any discussion?
I read up on these. Very fancy little piece of equipment with a little sun umbrella. That's nice, protecting people from skin cancer. I had a question of how long does this usually last? Is there a warranty on it? And if we don't purchase this, how much do we spend annually on this sort of thing?
These should last 15, 20 years without a problem. Majority of the items on here are, there's a motor, there's hoses, sprayers, nozzles, stuff that we replace. It's normal consumable items. As far as the frame and everything, that's your main part of this. Normally with this last year, we paid almost $25,000 towards contract painting with a contractor, a local contractor. And we had 2 bids, I believe, and then we're at mercy of their schedule.
Right.
Is the main issue. For that $25,000, I've done the math, and it's about $8,000 worth of paint is what it will cost us to do these areas. And for that 25 we did last year was not everything we even needed to do. We cut back to get the price down to a certain amount that we had budgeted.
So if they're late in the summer and they put it on
Yeah.
in September, we're scraping it off in
Right,
November
right.
for snow plowing, so it's not benefiting us. This way, we'll be able to do it early spring, ride it through the whole summer. It'll be more efficient for us going forward.
It looked like the company actually has a program where you can get parts rehabbed and fixed, so they try to maintain or expand the life of these.
Yeah, they do. There's other municipalities nearby, like Waterloo. They ran the same unit for a lot of years. They just recently bought a truck unit. But yeah, they had 0 problems. I've talked to them about it, and they liked them a lot.
As we discussed in budget, this is not property tax, this is road use tax, which will be used for road use improvements and equipment, which this would fall within. So this is not property tax for all the people discussing it. It is road use tax that pays for this.
Well, it sounds like it's going to pay for itself.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
So I've got just 2 questions. First of all, does this only do striping? Will this also paint yellow curbs and something other than striping on the streets?
If you needed to, I think you can take the wands off if you needed to paint for them, but it's primarily designed for striping. We do have smaller units that we use in parking lots that are a little more better to maneuver than this is. I think in a pinch you could use it if you needed to, say your other one's broke down or some other item.
What do you use to paint the curbs now? Is it just a power sprayer?
We got a small walk behind unit that you can just push around. That's, like I said, you can turn on a dime with it. You can load it in the back of on a pickup or a trailer really easy.
Okay. Second question is, where do we store all this stuff? We've been buying a lot of equipment.
We've got plenty of room out at the Public Works building. We actually, with the material storage building being completed, we've been heating garbage cans for many years in the recycling center. You cannot really set those outside because they'll just blow around or collect water material. So those will be going in the cold storage portion of that building, and then we'll have a bunch of room open up.
Okay.
So I guess that was kind of, one of my questions was, what, just for the public and for our education, what all do we stripe? Because Bremer Avenue, the big road in town, those are DOT controlled. 4th Street also, I believe. So how much, when you say 25, that's a lot, so it seems like there must be a lot more than.
We stripe quite a bit. You got Bremer Road, you got Horton Road, we do Business 218 going by 5th Avenue out by our building. The DOT only actually does the center line and the sideline. Every other year is a sideline, and then that second parking line is our responsibility all the way along Bremer Avenue. That is ours as well. I know I'm forgetting some other ones.
Cedar
There's quite
River
a
Parkway.
you added up, there's quite a bit of Cedar River Parkways.
Yep.
Technically
Parkway
ours
12.
this year. DOT has informed me we do not have to paint that. since it's their jurisdiction this year, but we will have to do 10th Avenue and Cedar River Parkway.
Parking lots.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking lots, but we've always kind of done those. There's a lot of area if you add it all up. I got the footage in my office, exactly how many feet it is.
Any more discussion? Carla, let's have a roll call vote.
Wolf,
Yes.
Bergen.
Yes.
Drinkow.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Kangas,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Rafi.
Yes.
That passed unanimously. That takes us to item K, reports from boards and commissions. You've got the Airport Leisure Services and Law Enforcement Board. Are there any questions or discussion on those?
I just have one thing about the leisure services minutes. It sounds like there was some confusion about the Community Foundation Fund, and I didn't know if it would be helpful to have somebody from the Community Foundation come speak to the Leisure Services Commission about that. That was my only comment about it.
Staff updates. Yes, sir, go ahead.
We're closed April 18th for Good Friday. Garbage and recycling will be picked up on Thursday, April 17th. We're starting starting a list for special collections for spring. 4/21 through 4/25, we'll be doing bulky items. As we recall, at Public Services, you still have to pay for the item that we're picking up, but we waive the fees to pick them up. And then 4/21 to 5/2, we're doing yard waste on a regular route day. So if you leave your yard waste, and those have to be in those bags or bundled 4-foot lengths or less.
Garrett?
Just wanted to thank the mayor for mentioning the luncheon this last Thursday. As he stated, it was a very nice ceremony for the city of Waverly and for Paul. So thank you for that. And then a reminder that we are planning on having the grand opening of the all-inclusive playground on April 26th from 11 to 1 with a small ceremony at 11:30.
That's all we have tonight, sir. Thank you. Then let's have some city council comments. Councilperson Bergen.
I guess this Thursday is Ladies' Night in downtown, so from 4 to 7, there are things you can do downtown, so lots of things to encourage the ladies to go out and shopping. So, and then I will be at the Poorhouse after the meeting for anyone who wants to discuss city council business.
Thank you, Councilperson Jones.
I'm just curious, are we progressing on getting the legal opinion on Irving property?
Yes, we're collecting all that information. We hope to bring it back to the study session and have everything that we have, so.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yep, things are progressing nicely on Anderson Village. Councilperson Myers.
Nothing for me.
Councilperson Kangas.
Nothing for me.
Councilperson Dranko.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Councilperson Rathi.
Nothing.
Councilperson Wolf.
It is also Waverly Restaurant Week, so go out and eat local. And I will be at Get Roasted on Saturday from 11 to 1 to discuss city council business.
Our guest councilperson, Mr. Pentecost, do you have any comments?
I would say go out and eat at the restaurants for lunch, and then in about 3 days, it looks like the weather's gonna break, and then get a big juicy steak and fire up the grill at night for dinner. So.
All right. I like that. I like the way you think. We have a sister city. It's Eisenach, Germany. And a few days ago, they had their spring festival, which is a very big event for them. And they had invited me to attend, but the budget just is not going to allow that to happen. But fortunately, these wonderful citizens, Robert and Joe Wyatt, stopped by my office to say they are taking a family trip to Eisenach, and is there anything they could do for me? And I said, well, actually, could you go and be my representative at this thing? They also took with them Charlene Sauer from school board. And so they and a bunch of family members all went to Eisenach and were treated wonderfully, great hospitality, and they got the whole red carpet treatment, and they took gifts from our city to Eisenach, and Eisenach sent gifts back, and now we're exchanging newspaper articles about it. It's just really great that people volunteer like that to help out. We've had to fill a couple of commission seats it's just great. People contact our office and volunteer to serve, and they want to do more than just sit on the computer and complain. They want to come in and help and offer things they can do. I think that's just wonderful, and I'm very thankful for them. With that, I would remind all of our citizens, this would be a great week to be kind. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? We are adjourned.